Okay, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about the impending super fight. I'm calling this a super fight. This is one of the most exciting heavyweight fights. The build-up for this is going to be tremendous that we've seen in a long, long time. Some are saying over a decade. And that is Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic. Now, a lot of people have Stipe as the underdog in this, which I think is just crazy. I mean, you can look at Stipe's victories. He's beaten much better fighters than Francis Ngannou. Now, you cannot deny, obviously, the power, the ferocity, the scariness, the intimidation factor of Francis Ngannou. But I do not think Stipe Miocic is going to be intimidated by this guy one bit. Stipe's a cold-blooded killer. He's made dramatic improvements since his last loss to Junior Dos Santos. He dismantled Junior Dos Santos. He looked like a completely different fighter. And he is on, do not forget the role this guy is on against some top level former title holders. Now, in Ngannou's last fight, let's compare these fights. Now, of course, he there's no doubt what he did to Alistair Overeem was brutal. Very impressive. But Overeem probably, his game plan, I don't know. I know he trains down in Albuquerque with Jackson Wink, but I don't know about that game plan. I don't. Although Alistair Overeem is a premier striker with a lot of wins over some top level strikers, but Alistair, let's be honest, he's been KO'd a bunch of times, so he might be a little hesitant in there. Who knows? Nevertheless, impressive win, completely demolished Overeem, and I gave Overeem a great shot to win that fight. I figured Overeem was 50-50, but the results are obviously different. Of course, he's got a win over Arlovski, but who doesn't at this point? Anthony Hamilton. These fighters. These are great fighters because they're in the UFC. So you can't deny that. His last loss was to some guy named Zomanu Sissi back in 2013. But these are not the caliber of fighters that Stipe has fought and Stipe has beaten. And on this role that he's on, since 2015. TKO Mark Hunt. TKO over Arlovski. He too has a pretty easy victory over Arlovski. Fabricio Verdun. KO. Alistair Overeem. He too KO'd Overeem. Overeem did, however, hurt him in that fight. But Stipe had recovered very fast. And, of course, he just demolished Junior Dos Santos. He's got wins over Roy Nelson, Gabriel Gonzaga as well. So he's beaten former title holders. Stefan Struve, kind of took him out. I remember that fight. But this is a much improved Stipe Miocic. Now, Stipe runs 6'4", 246. Ngannou is a little bit bigger guy. I think he's 6'5", 262. So he's taller and heavier. So, and he's lightning fast. So I get it. But people are just, it's always the what have you done for me lately kind of thing. And people are going to remember what Ngannou did to Alistair Overeem when this fight comes around. They're not going to remember the role that Stipe is on, to be honest. Sometimes when you take time off, though, things change. But he strikes me as a down-to-earth guy, works hard. And what I like about him is he's very, he doesn't say a lot of, stupid-ass things, and he's just a pretty calm dude, very modest. And Ngannou, of course, is kind of the opposite of that. And maybe that's what the UFC needs. I can completely understand their thinking and pushing this guy. So this should be an interesting fight, but do not sleep on Stipe Miocic. I would not be surprised at all if Stipe wins this fight. But it's a heavyweight fight, so these guys touch each other one time, and that's all it takes. And Ngannou is swinging bricks, man. It's just pretty scary stuff. So, but I don't think Stipe is going to be intimidated by this guy. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Maybe he'll walk right into something, but Ngannou, I don't think is faced a fighter near the caliber that Stipe is right now. So he might be in for a surprise too. It should be a really, really great fight, though. and it's something that the UFC needs.